is the Good Governance Radio.
Optimism is not a motivation but the essential for living and progress. That was the word of Madiba, the man you knew simply as Nelson Mandela. Good morning and welcome to GGR Good Governance Radio this beautiful, beautiful Monday morning. I'm not alone as usual. Tony.
Well, it is a very beautiful weekend and a lot happens during the weekend, and it's a wet Monday. It's wet Monday and with a lot of activities that is lined up for the week. My name is Tony Ayode. Welcome me to the program.
Chris, Nigeria lost one of the best, or I would say best, but yes, best, because in his capacity, he started well, made impact with messages in the music. We're talking about Sound Sultan.
Yeah, sad one. It was one of those sad weekend for Nigerians. The man that is known for Jagbajanti, the only podmas that has had this kind of effect on Nigerians. You know, when you look at the podmas that he sang in that particular song,
yes.
I think quite a difficult one for the families, and we saw pictures of his burial, and at the very tender age of 44, quite a sad one. But then, I think we probably would not just want to dwell on so many bad news that came out of Nigeria, kidnapping here and there, Kaduna, the emir. So let's possibly look at the few positive, news and the victory of Nigeria basketball over the United States, and of course Italy winning the Euros yesterday. So sport always has a way of bringing some relief to us and all of that.
Tony, hear your brother Chris. He said, "Let's talk about good news."
Good news.
Life they say no balance. So. England has waited for that victory for almost 55 years, and it happened right at Wembley.
Coming home.
Started well, scored the fastest goal in Euro finals, 2 minutes, Luke Shaw. Held on to 67 minutes, only to get the goal cancelled, only to bring Rashford, who has not been playing for some time because of injury, 2 minutes to the end of extra time, with Sancho, bringing them together as best penalty takers and having Saka in the pitch, only for these three kids to come in, miss the penalties in a very agonizing way. And it was a day for their Azores.
Somebody must win, somebody must win.
Exactly. The spirit of sportsmanship.
All right, let's go straight to the papers. And unfortunately, Chris Bassi was talking about good news. The first one greeting me here on Blueprint Newspaper isn't good. We're not going to run away, we will solve the problem. Bandits abduct 85-year-old emir, grandchildren and aides. That is in Kaduna, as Kaduna government's non-negotiation subsides. So are we now saying because we have made this law or because we have made this declaration, the emir can be there for all we care? Or are we going to be seeing the efficacy or the intelligence of the military to rescue these victims and say, Lex, we're not going to give you 1 naira? What is it going to look like this time around?
Well, Tony, even if it's his wife or his child, his children, he's not going to pay ransom. So it's now left for the security agencies to, take it upon themselves to rescue the emir, because we don't expect, or we shouldn't expect, the governor to, to cave into this. He said it's some kind of, it's a sabotage on his, government, and he's not going to cave into it. So,
all right. Afanifere to Buhari and National Assembly return Nigeria to true federalism now. Backs Southern governors ban on open grazing. Tony, we are back to the dominant topic of the opinion of the South for 2 weeks now. But this time around, they are talking about true federalism, advising Buhari and the National Assembly to return Nigeria to true federalism. Is there any content in this content?
They are speaking their mind, and they are also advising the National Assembly and the President to look into how the formation of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is and how we can practice true federalism. If they say we are not practicing, then I think they should come out with opinions, and they'll come out with an open letter and see how they want it to be held. So to me, they have their opinion said, but it's not left for the National Assembly to do what is needful. Most especially down there, they are doing the constitutional review, and let's see how it goes out of the day.
I'm seeing this syndicated, sponsored ad on almost all the national dailies. This time around, they are talking about, this is what, we have an image of, a splitted image of somebody indicating analysis, editorial, everything that has to do with news, but almost blindfolded. And we saw it there, information blackout. This is what the National Assembly wants to achieve with the MPC and MBC Media Act amendment bills. It's not just against the media, it's about society's right to know, your right to be heard. Is this a media war between the NUJ against the federal government? Whose interest are we being defended here, Tony?
Well, it is our terrain, and we have to put all hands must be on deck to see how the National Assembly will not come up with a bill that will affect the right of the citizen, the right to know and the right to be heard. But I believe they have other ways they can go about it by also adding their own voice or coming up with a report to the National Assembly how they felt the National Assembly should look at the bill that can help the society.
Okay, take it from there, Tony. You have Daily Trust?
Well,
I presume.
We are still in it. The Daily Trust is leading with COVID-19. Nigeria faces third wave as Lagos issue red alerts. Chris, are you ready for the lockdown?
Who told you that? Are they going to palliative?
Well, because the Delta variant is now in Oyo.
So what is it about the Delta variant?
So
I think it is one of the deadliest variants of the COVID.
The one that resurfaced in India and Brazil,
yes,
and
Brazil,
wiped people.
and even in South Africa. And we do hear that it was brought into the country by all these travelers and the sojourners that, somehow visited those countries, even when we've had the very strong restriction, in terms of traveling to those countries. But then the Lagos State governor is saying that there's an impending, looming, kind of restriction, and it's trying to enforce the already existed, restriction on, taking some of the precautions and all of that. I just hope that Nigerians will want to take this seriously, because, we seem not to be aware that there is still COVID-19.
That's what I wanted. When you say strong restrictions, I was about asking you where. We should be grateful to God. Let me go spiritual and philosophical, that the prediction of Melinda Gates didn't come to pass in Nigeria when she said she could foresee dead bodies being picked on the streets of Africa. It never came to pass. But rather than appreciating whatever, even if we should credit it to God. And if we think it was because of our weather, I said no, because Kuwait is hotter than Nigeria. Iraq is hotter than Nigeria. Up till now, Kuwait, their airports are still shut. I have a friend who is trapped there. They have been insisting that we don't want to take chances. But we have opened, in fact, the most ridiculous one is what happens in front of the banks. When you get there, the security men will tell you, put on your face mask. The moment you cross the door and get in, you are free to throw it away. Chris, Leave it there. Tell me what you have in Vanguard.
Yeah, quickly on Vanguard newspaper here with the blackout, information blackout that has to do with the purported bills to gag media. That's what the media platforms are saying. We have blackout here. But then the single headlines here on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper says PDP in Dume tango over transmission of polls results. With the riders, electronic transmission won't work in North, says Alin Dume. Opposite state police PDP kicks, says poll results can be transmitted from anywhere in Nigeria. Tony, what is your reaction? Dume is again, standing on the fence and saying not transmission can't work in the North. Are we having two countries? Why wouldn't it work in the North?
Well, he's from that part of the country, and he knows the weaknesses they have in that sector of the country. When we maybe talk in terms of illiteracy, talks in talk of internet, talks in terms of weather, or whatever might be his reason. But I believe, like they said, there's nowhere the transmission cannot work. But to him, he must have looked at it that these things they are trying to bring, he knows his terrain, he knows his people. He's feeling that, can it work? Maybe it's his opinion. And he must have some facts before coming up with that statement.
Okay, let's leave it at that. And let's come to our in-house newspaper, New Nigeria Star, that has a couple of headlines on the front page. AMCON to Jimo Ibrahim. Stop delaying taxes. Pay up your 69.4 billion naira debt. 18 Boronu IDP camps record 17,000 births since 2019. Is it a baby factory, or what do we call this one? They're struggling with everything. Basic amenities, food are not available, but then they are still dropping babies as if.
Ask Otumba. We had that discussion in this studio where he was imposing it on us that this is the act of heavenly. That is a blessing from above. And I love your basic illustration there. They are struggling with everything, compressed amenities, infrastructures, and right there they are producing and mass producing. What is wrong
do
with
you want
that?
to tell me that
a journalist friend that actually went to one of the IDPs to cover an event to get some reports, came out with some surprising revelation that sex is offered freely. That he was that even when he cornered someone to conduct interview, he was offered free sex right there at the IDP camp. It's a normal thing, exactly right there. So possibly that's the reason why we have this number of babies being given birth to.
Well, Chris,
in that kind of condition,
where you have two opposite beings, there will be some kind of emotional feelings and attraction.
Two opposite being confined in
a very inconveniencing.
You might call it inconvenience environment, but as human, they will have a way to have it.
Okay, let me put it to you now. Are you
saying, you can see what happened now, even though
are you insisting that number we read the 17,000 what? Are you still saying that is a national achievement or a national contribution?
Well, there's nothing you can do, but the truth must be said, it is of natural importance.
Okay. I'm still staying with National Star. Insecurity, only God can save Nigeria, says Omar Gege. Omar Gege is on it again. Only God can save Nigeria. Insecurity. No APC primary was held in Anambra. Grief aspirants insist. Owane Zendibo assembles legal team for Nnamdi Kanu. And stock market investors lose 123 billion naira. 4 children declared missing within days in FCT community. That's the last one right here. Iberi, this looks or seems worrying. 4 children declared missing within days in FCT. community. We've always talked about how insecure the FCT is, but then I think this is just getting out of hand.
You know, we have a way of redirecting our problems or reintroducing our problems with terminologies. Abduction, kidnapping, now missing. Nothing, no quarters were credited with the responsibility. Because if they said kidnapped, we'll be looking at the bandits, looking at the conventional kidnappers. But whenever we hear missing, we begin to think of maybe money ritualists and all that. So until the police makes a statement, so if they say 4 people missing within
The
FCT within that short period, it should be that it could be that there are new syndicates in town, new sheriffs that must be unmasked, because all that we know is that axis like what's this place after Zuba now? Tugamaji, Wale, and all that, they have not been safe for a very long time. Even Kubwa. There's this Arab road yes. in Kubwa. Anything after 8 p.m. there is a new forest there now. It has been there. It's not new, but it seems to be a new camp now. Something pathetic happened about 3 weeks ago where they kidnapped a man living on a particular street, drove off from the street as if they were taking him to the Suleja axis of Abuja, only for them to corner the same street and climb the hill, which is just less than a kilometer from where they kidnapped him. And that was where they kept him for almost 2 weeks. And people were looking for him all over. So,
Barry, please allow me, before I hand over to you, let's take a look at this Vanguard Sports page. Football goes to Rome. You were supposed to come home.
Yeah.
I don't know, but as for me, football is on the street. There is no home of football on the streets. It's played on the streets. On the streets.
Italy won recently won a World Cup, even though they are not the holders. So for a very long time, England after 1966 World Cup, they have not been favored by a major tournament. As a matter of fact, they came close in 1996 when they played in semi-final. They had the best team then. They played a semi-final game against Germany, and that was when Jürgen Klinsmann was at the helm of his career, and it ended 1-0. But it wasn't about the scoreline. England made a very sentimental and emotional statement before the match, where they said they were continuing against the German country, that it was going to end like the Second World War, apparently saying that Germany was going to bow to them. So that invoked and provoked the global community in favor of Germany in a sportsman's empathy. And of course, England lost that game, and Germany went ahead to beat Czech Republic 1-0 in the final.
Let's create a sports show. They will definitely create a sports show. But then it's quite exciting when I look at the back page of Vanguard. So many interesting, exciting news, victory news all over. Di Maria deliver Copa America glory for Argentina. Marcelo to succeed Ramos as Real Madrid captain. Nigeria shock USA NBA basketball. Djokovic wins 6 Wimbledon titles. It's just a victory.
Yes, victory. And something is also significant there. Sorry,
about the Copa America.
Yes, because the comparison between Ronaldo and Messi.
Who is the GOAT?
Yes, who is the GOAT? So the omission has always come from the fact that Messi hasn't grabbed anything with the country, and in our own local balance of African mentality, we would have said that yesterday that the course has been broken. But professionally, we call it jinx. So the jinx has been broken. So congratulations to Lionel Messi and the entire
congratulations to all the winners over the weekend.
And our own the Tigers who flew ahead of the United States of America, the home of basketball.
The Golden Boy, the dream team of the American basketball, and all
beating
of that.
them with almost a slim point of 90 to 87 points there.
It was a sweet victory.
It was a sweet victory. Anyway, that's where we are bringing the newspaper review to an end. Remember, Speak Out continues shortly. Don't go anywhere. If there's anywhere to get the fact, if there's anywhere to get the balance, if there's any way to follow up on good governance with facts and figures, this is definitely the platform. Chris is still in the house. Tony is still in the house. And in a few seconds, we shall be returning. Don't go anywhere.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Let's go. This is your radio, your station. GGR, Good Governance Radio.